Hey everyone, VCalla here, and welcome to Let's Discuss Politics. Today, I'm glad to be joined by the Ottawa City Councillor for Ward 20 Osgoode, George Darouze. Thanks, George, for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm sorry we've been trying to connect for a long time, but we're here.
Well, I'm so glad to have you. A little bit of context for the audience. We've been in contact to do this interview for a while now, so I'm glad we're able to get it done. And before we start, a note to the audience to make sure you're staying updated with me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at BC Protections 25. My website, vincenzocalla.com, and make sure you're staying updated here on YouTube by liking, subscribing, and getting notifications. So without further ado, let's get this interview started. So our first segment is called George's Story, where we'll talk a bit about who George is and his political history. So before going into why you ran and all that, I always like to start with a story about yourself. So can you tell me a bit about yourself, your story, and how you got your start in politics?
Yeah, for sure. I get asked this question all the time, especially when I go do school presentation. And every 4 years, the residents remind me of that. They ask me why, because you get a door knock and you run for re-election. But I always tell people the politic in the municipal, it is the lowest level of the government, but I always say we're the most important because we actually deliver and cater services to people day in and day out. I moved into Canada in 1990, and my parents always taught me to be involved in my community. It doesn't matter in what capacity, community associations, working with the church, serving church dinners. Back home, we've done lots of events around surrounding the church. I was in a scout for many years. I'm always involved, and I came to Canada in 1990, and I'm grateful for that. The Canadian government opened its arm and heart for us as Lebanese. I get immigrated from Lebanon, and it gave me an opportunity to be able to build a home and family here. And the struggle at the beginning, you get immigrated, you don't speak very English. I speak Lebanese, and my second language is French, and I have to learn English. But I'm always involved. And you asked me the question why I ran. So when I get married, we lived in Blossom Park, and I moved to Greeley because I fell in love with the rural setting, rural way of living. I really liked it because there is no buses. I want small communities. And don't look at Greeley today. But, we're talking back in 2003 when I moved. It was a very small village. So anyway, we decided, my wife and I, to move here. And from here, in Greeley, I get engaged in politics. Everybody call me, I'm a political junkie. I can tell you, in the morning, I wake up at 5. I listen to Reuters, Jazeera, all these news outlets. And so I like that since I was kid, and I've always been have interest in it. And I become involved in the community association in Greeley, where I live, where I'm living. And I also was part of uh, multiple association and volunteering, and then I end up with the snowmobile club. And I volunteer with the snowmobile club, and the snowmobile club taught me lots of processes, and I had to deal lots with the cities and government, multiple government from funding perspective. And I had passion for that sport, and I defended couple time the snowmobiler. I represent them at city or province level, and uh, and everyone tells me, they call me at that time. They said, "You're going to be the mayor of Osgoode," because back in the days it was township. They still call you the mayor. And my predecessor, when retired, the community, I was no choice. All the community come to me, and I got the support. And I actually love to do that job, and I learn a little bit more about what entail. And I always have interest in building communities. I'm always have interest in improve our community, the life of our resident, and the life in our city. So I was very interested, and my background, I worked for Belso for 17 years. I was familiar with customer service. I was familiar with RFPs and contract. So I do the same thing. People ask me, city council, I said, we do this every day for our residents. So that's part of it. So we're here today. And I had 11 candidates running against me. I got a lot of support in the community, and the rest is history.
Well, and it's so interesting to hear your story coming to Canada and working in the community and volunteering and getting your start and sort of building up to this, now you're sitting as the twice reelect or once elected and twice reelected councillor for Osgoode, and let's talk about that now. So why did you initially decide to run in 2014?
Like I said, I work the rural community are very unique. People who live in rural area, I'll tell you this, I'm a bias, but trust me, the people who live in the rural area, they're kind, and they like the city, but the amalgamation left a very bad taste in their mouth. So in 2000, Osgoode Township amalgamated with the city of Ottawa. And all what you hear is that negativity, and all what you hear is that we don't get enough money from the city for our road, our infrastructure. So I was always advocating for through the snowmobile club and through my work at the community association. I was involved in the community design plan. I was involved in many other initiatives, the master transportation plan. So I had that passion from the get-go. And when the opportunity and our long-time sitting councillors in our community was retiring, everyone was talking to me about running, and I looked at it and I found it was a good fit to improve my community. Instead of me complain about it, let's put my name in the ballot and let's do something about it. It's always good to hear stories. People say, well, I will send an email to this and I complain about that. I would say, I encourage people to if you want to fix something, put your name on the ballot and come in and then be part of the solution instead of be part of the problem.
Well, definitely, and it's so important to do that, and it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of
Reward.
dedication to your community, and we'll talk about that now in this next segment. So this segment is called Serving as an Elected Official, where we'll talk a bit about your experiences, achievements as an elected official and serving your community. So first off, I wanted to ask you what your favorite part about serving your community as their elected city councillor is. What's your favorite part about that?
My favorite part always to see the the request that they come to our office is being dealt with, servicing them, and delivering and catering to my youth, to my seniors, from sidewalks, to improve the road, to improve the parks. I cannot explain to you what pleasure it gives me. Every morning when I wake up, I want to see how can improve my community and what kind of service I can deliver to make our resident in the city of Ottawa life is better. See, elected officials need to always remember why they get elected. We sit on this seat. We are serving the resident. I'm in the customer service. So you ask me what make me happy. What make me happy is when I cater that service request, when people we pick up their garbage, fixing the light at the end of the road, because those are necessity. Those are safety components. And the best things is how we could do working with community association and delivering and catering the safety component to our community from road, safer road Ottawa, working with our community policing, and I making sure I have enough emergency service from fire department. You have to remember and realize we live in rural area, so our volunteer the firefighter they need lots of support. They service our community in best way and will not have it any other way. But we impact people's life every day. I indirectly we impact our kids, our youth, we impact our seniors, even the resident that they arrive to work in the morning and in the evening in the commute. How I can make sure I fix the road intersection so they can get that 5 or 6 minute extra commute from here to downtown or from downtown here, so they can have that extra 10 or 15 minute extra to spend with their kids and their family. How we encourage kids and youth in the community to get them engaged in the community, because they are the backbone and they are the pillar of this community. They are the one that are going to look after us. So those are all good things. It comes with me naturally. That's what I like. That's how I love to service the community, and I want to make sure that big put big smile on my face when we open a park. When we pave a road and when we improve a sidewalk for our senior to be able to go see their kids or walk in the community, cycling network. We've done one in Greeley, we're doing one in Mecca. So those are things get me very excited. I work with the community very closely, and that's what makes me happy. That's something for me is just an enjoyment.
Well, definitely. And all those points you touched on are all things that you are able to do at the local level as a local counselor. And that, like you mentioned earlier in the show, there's so much you can do in the city level that touches our lives every day. And I haven't told anybody but this yet, and I'm really excited about it. But over the next couple months, this spring leading into the summer, I'm gonna have so many more of your council colleagues joining me to talk about life in Ottawa and focusing on these municipal issues that touch us every day. And I'll be focusing on this. But we're going to go on to the next question now, which is what has been your favorite achievement as an elected official over the past few years? Or you've been the counselor for over 8 years now. So what have been some of your favorite achievements? Multiple.
Yeah, that's a very good question. You know what? Lots of people ask me the same thing every day and all the time, you know. But my most achievement, if every time I look at I do have a yearly report, and every time the budget comes out, I send a report out to my resident, my community about the result of the budget. And the best achievement, I look at the graph some of the time. I look at the graph and what we deliver, and I'm sorry we're doing this on Zoom, but when I look at how much money I deliver and we cater, and when I look at that number, how much we are tracking ourselves since I get elected, rural resident, what they need. Everybody asks me the same thing. They need service. We pay taxes. We need to deliver services. And unfortunately, maybe some councillors they don't realize that this is what we get elected. I get elected to deliver services to my community. What is the most important thing? It's commute, their road, their parks, you know, we pick up their garbage. We're making sure we have police, we have paramedic. This is who we are. We have core services. Of course, we have other responsibilities citywide. Talking about social housing, fine. We're going to talk about affordability is all fine. But we take the resident money from rural homes for them to get services, and that's where we need to focus. So you'll ask me what is my achievement. I take a pride of my road network. And in rural area, I have 690 kilometer of road, and I have over 250 of gravel road. Think about it. Okay, so when you do plow, when we clean the snow, when we have our road department going out to make sure that we're delivering service to the resident, this is a long stretch of road. When you pave 8 or 9 kilometers of road, it doesn't cost 100,000, 200,000. And I tell people always, when you see the pavement, when you see the asphalt, they are the icing on the cake. Because before, it depends on the classification of the road. If it's a truck route, or if it's a connector route, or it's a residential route, each one of them has a different specs and we have to build them different way. But you also, what ruins our road is water, water, and water. So we need to make sure we clean the ditches, make sure the bed of the road is solid. It depends if it's a truck route or not. So every kilometer in average, it costs the taxpayer around $1 million. And if you think about the stretch of the road that we have, and I have to pave sometimes 6 or 7 or 9 kilometers or 3 kilometers, that costs a lot of money. And our achievement and our goal to making sure get those road paved, make sure we have all the network in our communities being taken care of, and we've done amazing. I am on target. I promised my resident I'll pave every major road in my ward. I didn't expect to change the boundary on me in 2020 in 2022, but I'm working very hard because, as you know, we added VARs now, we added Carlsbad. So they gave me more major road to be able to achieve and fix, but we will be working hard to making sure to bring as much as money we can from the city budget to fix our road and our networks to deliver safe road to our community. Parks, we invest so much money in parks. We invest so much money because I don't want to see those kids sitting at home, have no amenity for them. They're sitting behind the TV and the computer and playing all day. They need to give them healthy, active life. You need to have parks. You need to cater to them. You want to build a park, what they need to play to see in the park. So we do public consultation with schools. We're very engaged with them to see what they want. Now the trend is people need skateboard, they want a BMX park, and of course our some residents say, well, we don't need them there. Well, we need to build park for the kids that they want to play in it, not for us. So sometimes things doesn't suit us, but it suit our generation. So we need to cater to them. So those are achievements we've been doing a lot. In rural area, we have challenge with 911 dispatch and calls. We've done the blade sign for all our road back in the days. The township, since the ice storm, the Ontario government gave every township money to do blade sign because they couldn't find the addresses when they were calling for an emergency. And the chief of the fire department brought it to my attention when I got elected. Actually, he was not chief at that time. Now he's the chief, is Chief Paul Hart. He said, "Councillor, if you want to do good initiative, with the blade in Osgoode ward, they're all rusted." So we've done the program. We changed most of them in main road because what happened, the snowplow come and push the snow with the salt on the metal sign. They were not aluminum, so they were rusting. So we've done a lot of initiative. We are upgrading so many facilities. We upgrade it's so nice to see when we spend money in arenas. We have the Stuart Home arenas. We have Metcalf, Larry Robinson Arena. I know we take a pride of it. Larry Robinson, he's from our ward. He grew up in Metcalf, south of Metcalf, and we renamed the arena after him. So the investment that we're seeing now in my community, and my biggest and nice achievement, I'm looking forward to the Hard Rock. Hard Rock Casino is going to be in the middle of the city of Ottawa. And I know some people say it's a casino, but you know what? It's going to be amazing for everybody. It's going to be good for the city. It's going to be good for employment. It's going to be also a tourist attraction for people coming to visit Ottawa, for them something to do. So hopefully the shovel in the ground coming soon and the news will be coming out. So those are all initiatives. They take a lot of time, a lot of work, but I'm also happy to see we improved the Bank Street widening. We brought it from 2035. Now it's starting now, so we should have it in the next 2-3 years, widening all the way from Leitrim to Don Skipper, improving all the intersection. When I get elected, you can never even come to our ward from so many intersections. So we've done intersections, Mitch Owens, Rideau, and one of the biggest one was on Manatic Station Road and Mitch Owens. There was disaster over there. No one could come through. Everybody was going through the school zone at San Mark High School. And we've done a couple intersection modification in Osgoode, and one is now in Metcalf. It's in work for this year. So when you see all these improvement and all those roadway built to accommodate the growth that we're having, this is amazing achievement. I'm very proud of it, and I'm very happy. And I keep working every day when I come to the office in the morning to improve the life of my community and my resident, and of course, the people that they come visit us in the city of Ottawa.
Well, definitely, and so many great points there that you talked about that we could continue to talk about, and I won't continue to talk about it right
Sorry,
now.
I'm passionate about it. I'm trying doing all the talking, but it's just something you're doing the interview so to know, and you're taking time
Yeah.
to talk to us, but you also you're happy to hear about what we're achieving and what we're doing and how we can get things done.
Well, and it's so important, and I'm glad to provide this platform to talk about the good that's happening in our city, from Orleans to Barhaven to Osgoode to
Uh,
Canada to all these places. There's just so much going on in our city, and definitely discussions for future conversations. But we're gonna go on to the next segment now. So this segment is called The World of Politics Around Us, where we'll talk a bit about this world of politics that surrounds us. So first off, I wanted to ask you, who is or who was another politician or politicians that inspire you as a councillor?
Pierre Poilievre. Pierre is my friend for a long time, and I'm happy to call him a friend. And uh, uh, when I was the president of the snowmobile club, probably something he won't admit, but he came out snowmobiling with me. Lisa McLeod and Pierre were instrumental in my life. They taught me a lot. They guide me, and they gave me lots of uh, feedback, and they actually helped me a lot during my last 9 years as a counselor. And I also, the previous counselor that was before me, helped me a lot too at the beginning. So I do have some amazing people, and I have a lot of instrumental people in my community, from community leaders to business people, and the list is massive and it's huge. But let's talk about politician. We'll stick to politician.
So we're gonna go on to the last question now, which is always my favorite to ask. One of my favorite. That one before that I asked is one of my favorites as well, but they're all favorites. But this one is one that's always really fun to hear from. And it is, what do you think is an issue that needs to be focused on more? And what's an issue that you want to focus on in the next 4 years at City Hall?
I highlighted a little bit in my talk. I'm hoping Council 2022-2026 focus and delivering and catering service to the taxpayer and focus on our agenda. I don't want to see another term that we don't do enough to our communities and our city. You know, I'm tired of battling bills or policies from another level of government. If you want to be an MPP, run for an MPP. You want to be MP, run for an MP. But you're city councillor. Stick to your mandate and work what is good for our city. We promote the city of Ottawa, not any other color or any level of government. Listen, I'm a bias, but I don't bring what I believe in my politics and what I want to see and who I want to vote for, who I want to support in the provincial or in the federal to the table. I stick to the services. And I think 2022, 2026, it's very important and it is critical to focus and cater and deliver services to our residents. We need to go back to basic. I say that before and I say it again and I repeat it again. And I'm hoping we have a new mayor. He has a different vision. And you know what? It's been very tough for him. He's been only elected since October, and he's only took an office in mid-November. He has a lot on his plate, and he's drinking from the fire hose right now. And I remember when I was elected as councillor, I don't want to even think how, as a mayor, look after 24 councillors, all the ward and all the responsibility and all first task he has to deal with it, working with all the councillors, trying to deal with the budget, 910-page budget, line by line item. So we need to give him time. We need to support him. We need to work with him, and support and stand behind him for him to be able to deliver his mandate.
Well, definitely, and I had the mayor on for my 100th interview a few weeks ago, and actually a couple months ago now, I guess, by the time of this filming, and we had a great discussion about that. And that's so right. Working on it, our city is here for growth. We're in a growing period in our city, and there are a lot of issues that are city focused that we need to focus on to continue working to deliver for the people of Osgoode, the people of Ottawa throughout the city to continue doing that. I think that's it for today.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Vincenzo. I really appreciate it, and I apologize. In the past, we couldn't connect, but we live on the fast lane, and our time didn't connect. But I'm glad I was able to do it. And I saw you at City Hall last month or the month before, and I promise you we'll have this. So we're here today. Thank you very much, and thank you for taking the time to having me.
Well, it was great having you, George. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad we're able to do this, and I look forward to future discussions. I'm sure there are a lot of future discussions coming up. But for today, if you like this interview, make sure to go check out my other interview with George on YouTube for Top 10. For watching this at the date of the premiere, it'll be coming out on Friday. So let's discuss politics as a VCalla production. So until the next video, I'm Vincenzo Calla, signing out.